welcome to our Tech Talk Tuesday. Before I give the mic and floor to my colleague Sandy, who is our resident expert in lighting, lights, and lamps, I just wanted to remind you of our town hall meeting tomorrow. And our speaker for tomorrow is Nina Glassner, who is a social worker and deals a lot with low vision patients or patients with visual impairment. I urge you to join us at 11 o'clock tomorrow if you can. And if you miss any of these events, you can always go to our YouTube channel and you will find the recordings there. Sandy, shall I give you the mic and the floor?
Sure.
Okay.
So today I'm supposed to be talking about how lighting can help people with low vision. And there are days that I think that lighting is almost more important than magnification. It's so weird hearing this echo in my ears, and I'm going to try to ignore it. Okay, so I want to give a little background first. So what is light? And you may not have stopped to think about it. And then how and where in our eyes do we pick up light and turn that into vision? So when that goes wrong, it gets harder to see. And then thirdly, changes in light every day. Some we can't control and some we can control. Okay, so light. What's normal light? I think for most of us, we think of sunshine. Every day of our lives, the sun comes up, it gets brighter, it gets dimmer at evening, it's dark at night. So normal to human beings is sunlight. And until about 150 years ago, the only additional light that we had, the artificial light, was from fires or burning oil or wax in candles or oil lamps. And that had a sort of a yellowish hue to it. Okay, so that's also kind of normal to us, but that is artificial. Okay. I'm going to have to keep referring to my notes because my echo is so distracting.
For people who don't know what's going on, Sandy has joined from her computer and her phone because of some sound issues. That's why she's hearing herself when she's talking.
I'm hearing myself delayed 1 second. It's really weird. Okay, so how and where do our eyes pick up light? So light comes into your eye, lands on your retina, but your retina has different cells. So I'm going to talk about the cones and the rods. These are specialized cells in your retina that turn that light into signals to your brain, and your brain turns that into vision. Okay, cones starts with a C. It's your central vision. On your fovea, it's almost all cones, or maybe it is all cones, but most of the cones of your eye are in the center of your eye. The cones are responsible for seeing color. It's really easy. Cones, central, color. You need more light to see color. And this central part of your eye is also responsible for seeing detail. So when you're reading, when you're trying to recognize faces, when you're trying to see the edges of steps, you need that central vision and your cones working for you. Okay, the other specialized cells, and there's lots more of these, the rods are all over the rest of the area, the peripheral area of your retina. So rods help you with peripheral vision. They help you see motion, like a little bug zipping past, or a squirrel running across the yard. You might sort of see it out of the corner of your eye. You're seeing it with your peripheral vision. And those rods do not see color. They see in gray tones. And your brain sort of adds the color to it. So if your rods aren't working, you have trouble with night vision. Rods are supposed to help you in dim light, but if your rods aren't working, you might have what people call night blindness. It's harder for you to see at night than a person with normal vision. Okay, next topic. So the transitions in light during the day, they're inevitable. The sun comes up, gets brighter, you see more blue light. Oh man, I've already forgotten some of the important parts. But we can manage some of that light, or we can enhance what the daylight does. And that's the majority of what I want to talk about, is how we sort of manipulate our situation. Especially if we go, the daylight can change gradually, but if a cloud goes in front of the sun, there's kind of a quick change from bright sunlight to a shadow of a cloud. When you're walking, under trees, past buildings, you're going from light to shadow to light. That can be difficult. And then if you go from indoors to outdoors, you're changing from, your eyes have adjusted to darker, and then you go out into bright sunshine. And unfortunately, as our eyes age, we adjust to the brightness a little bit more slowly. Or the converse, if you're outdoors with a bunch of friends, you go into a restaurant for lunch, and the restaurant's kind of dim, it's got dark walls. It takes a while to adjust to that light. But I really did leave a one part at the very beginning, so I've got to go back to that. So normal sunlight, it's white light. Well, we think of it as white. If it's diffracted by raindrops to make a rainbow, you can see that sunlight is really a combination of red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. But when sunlight isn't separated into those colors, it's white light. So some people's eyes are more sensitive to blue light or red light, and we'll get back into that a little bit later. I did mention that until about 150 years ago, the only light we had was sunlight and from fires or burning candles. But intelligent people figured out how to make light, artificial light. So if you heat a wire with electricity in a vacuum, it glows. And those are incandescent light bulbs. They've been around, I don't know, since the early 1900s or something. But in the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, some even smarter people invented what are called LED light bulbs. That stands for something, luminous, something or other diode. So LED. And they can control the brightness of those and they can control the color that they emit. Incandescent lights were sort of on the yellowish end. They didn't have all of the blue that sunlight has, but LED lights can be made to be much more similar to daylight. Anyway, we'll get back to that. But anyway, I'm going to stop here for questions with my very confusing background.
Any questions on the background so far? Because Sandy will go into other details. But any questions about what she has mentioned so far? Not yet.
Sandy,
Okay.
if I can share, I got a call. I think Ms. MacArthur had some really good poignant questions about lighting. I would love to maybe encourage Ms. MacArthur to raise that question here, if possible.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
And I may get to explaining the answer to it, but if I don't, remind me.
Okay.
Just one thought, light emitting diodes is what LED stands for.
Thank you.
Yes.
Brain freeze.
I just checked it on ChatGPT. Okay, Sandy.
Okay. So how can we help ourselves? The whole point of understanding lighting is because whatever your vision condition is, whatever you can see or can't see, but let's emphasize what you can see. Let's get the lighting the very best to emphasize or, make that the best that it possibly can be for your eyes. Okay, that's the goal here. So whether we need to reduce light or because there's glare, whether we need to add light because there isn't quite enough light, that's what we're going to go through next. Okay, so how do we manage natural lights? Like I said, every day, sun comes up, the atmosphere is thicker or where the sun is coming in at an angle, and it's more yellowish, orangish. And then as the sun goes up in the sky, it's going through less atmosphere. But that atmosphere is, it's really hard to talk. That atmosphere is sort of scattering all the short blue wavelength. That's why we have that big blue sky. And our eyes get used to that bluish light during the day. And then in the evening, the sun's coming in at an angle, more atmosphere. And then you're seeing just the yellowish orange light again. Okay. In your home, maybe you can manage that natural light a little bit. I mean, when you're out, let's start with indoors. You can open and close window coverings. If there's too much light coming in, close some coverings, blinds, curtains, whatever. Open them if you want more light to come. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But if it's too much light, maybe you need to wear a hat or sunglasses indoors, just like you would outdoors. But let's say the natural light coming in isn't enough on a cloudy day or early in the morning or in the evening. And a lot of us stay up after sunset these days. So we may have to add some light. We turn on the lights in our eyes. You may have ceiling lights. You may have lamps on tables. Maybe that's not bright enough. Maybe you add some more lights than that. But let's start with the ceiling lights and the table lights, the lamps that you have in your house already. Now, here comes a little bit of my show and tell. So I'm going to change the screen so that I can see myself better, hopefully. so that I can tell. Okay. Oh, no, that doesn't work because I'm speaking on my other thing. Oh dear.
Sandy, you can bring it up a little bit, whatever's in your hand,
Yeah.
and I will
Okay.
tell you if it shows.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, that's the
Okay,
light bulb, yeah.
So it's a light bulb with the old-fashioned, they call this A19 base. It screws into the light bulb sockets that you had when you had incandescent lights. But this is an LED light. Now, I went to Home Depot the other day and I bought a bunch of LED lights and the box. And Tara, this may be completely backwards because I forgot to test mirroring.
Yes, it's fine.
Oh, it's
It
fine.
says
Okay, it's
A19,
just
yeah.
backwards to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so light bulbs, LED lights, they talk about how bright it is. We used to talk about watts, W. Now I'm putting my finger. Can you see that, Tara?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it says 75 W in great big but low contrast. Shame on them. White on light blue, but you know, the industry just doesn't understand us folks with low vision. Anyway, it says 75 watts replacement. Sometimes they'll say equivalent. Okay, but it's an LED light, so they're going to tell you this is actually 1100 lumens. So sometimes they'll just abbreviate that with a capital letter L. So L is how much light you're getting. To convert from watts to lumens, use 12. Either divide lumens by 12 to get watts, or if you know in your head how much watt lights are comfortable, you know, what you used to have there, multiply by 12 and you'll get lumens. But the good news is if the watts you used to have in your lamp weren't bright enough, you can get an even higher lumens watt rating because LED lights don't get hot. And the way when they make lamps or ceiling lights, they used to rate them for, you know, you can put up to 100-watt bulb in there. And the reason they gave that rating was if you put a 150-watt bulb in, it would get hotter and the thing might fail, something might melt. In worst case, you might start a fire, not likely, but possible. But the lumens, you can get a higher rating. That's okay.
Sandy, can you move your head to the left a little bit? Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's
because
good.
the light bulbs don't get as hot. Now, the other thing, I'm going to, my finger there, there's a square where they give the Kelvin rating, and that has to do with color. Now, again, this is small and hard to read, so I printed it out for myself and I'll read from that. Hang on. Oh man, I'm skipping ahead. Okay, so it's the different colors from Kelvin lighting. They give these terminologies. So they say 2700 K, K for Kelvin, is a soft white. 3000 K is a bright white. I mean, it is getting brighter. 3500 K is, they call it true white. Now, don't ask me exactly what that means, but 4000 K, they call a cool white. 5000 K, they call daylight. So at this point, they're claiming that it's going to be similar to have sunshine coming in your window, okay? And 6500 K, they call daylight deluxe. So maybe you're on vacation, I don't know. But the terminology, it's crazy, but the lower the Kelvin, the more yellowish the color is. And as the kelvins go up, it gets to be the full spectrum, very white, and then it's kind of a very bright, harsh, a little bit bluish white. I don't think there's a way to predict exactly what color your eyes would be comfortable with, but it's not a very expensive experiment to buy different light bulbs and try it out and see what works. And what's amazing with newer light fixtures, where you can do this, what's the word they use? You can transition. This one light bulb that I bought supposedly can transition through all of those colors. So those are newer fixtures, and they usually have a remote control or a dial or something that helps adjust the color. And that might be beneficial to you at different times of the day, so that you're sort of mimicking the sun is coming up, the sun is big and bright and high in the sky, the sun's going down. It's something to think about. But you can start with just a simple approach. Try a couple of different Kelvin rating bulbs, not transition, but just, 2,700, a 3,000, a 4,000. See what you like. Not too expensive. Okay, so that's with the light fixtures that you have in your house, but you can also add lights if you need more light to see comfortably. So behind me, and hopefully it shows, beside the bookshelf, I have a floor lamp. It stands on the floor. The top of the lamp is about almost 6 feet off the floor. It's about at the top of my head. And it has a light that shines up at the ceiling. I can actually tilt that a little bit.
Sorry,
But-
Sandy, we cannot see. We only see the pole. We cannot see the top of the light. So
Ooh, I have to adjust it. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Now
yes,
can you
now
see
we can
it?
see it. Yes.
Okay. Oh, now I can't see anything. Press something.
No, that's it. We saw it. And for those of you who have come to Bethesda or Alexandria, we have this kind of lamp in our office. So maybe you have seen it before.
Yeah, it is really handy light to have. It adds so much light to my office, and it's ambient lighting, shining, reflecting off the ceilings and walls. Now I have it at the brightest setting. I'm going to turn it off, and you see how much dimmer my office is. I'll turn it back on, and now I'm going to go through the different colors, and the remote control has the letter K for kelvins. And this light sort of has 3 basic color settings. So that's the yellower, lower Kelvin, and then a more white, and then brighter white bluish. But this is something simple you can add to your home for about $100. Okay, Tara, I'm going to go back. Am I back to being sort of in the screen?
Yes, you are.
Okay, next show and tell. Another way to add lights, light to help you see what you're doing, is what we refer to as a task light, T-A-S-K. Or as my husband would say, T-ask. Yeah, he loves to separate words. Anyway, this one, unfortunately, has a plug. It's not a battery operated one, which is more convenient, but I'm going to turn it on and tell me if you can see it. It has a light for on off. I mean, a switch for on off. It's a touch switch.
Yes, it's working.
And I have a bump dot right by the touch switch. And then the other switch as I tap it sequentially, or I can put my finger on the slide bar and I can add light. And this has, I think it's 6 or 7 levels of brightness, but it's all one color. So one color, If the color's right for you, maybe that's good. You can shop around and try to find ones that have different brightness and different color. Of course, the more options, it'll cost a little bit more. But this, and Tara, tell me if you can see it. Is this in the
Yes.
screen? Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
So this is a little teeny tiny table lamp that can sit right on my kitchen counter and shine right on where I'm chopping food or where I'm eating off my plate. This has 3 colors, but only 1 level of brightness. So it's got a yellowish color. Is this showing?
Yes, you're.
Okay. And then it's got a whiter and then well, this one goes yellow, bluish, whitish, and then off. I'll go through it again. But different color options. This one's rechargeable, handy, because there's no wire on my counter. Another option, you know, you can use a flashlight, hold it in your hand, or you can use a headlamp. My husband loves headlamps when he's working on projects around the house, when he's reading a book at night, when he's even streaming on his phone. I don't understand why he has to add light to the front of it, but he says he can see it better. So, you know, each to his own. Everybody has to figure out what works for their eyes. Another option that's sort of like a flashlight, they call them hug lights or neck lights, or hang it around your neck, and you can sort of snug it up. You can aim it forwards, backwards, both of them the same way. Anne Cook and Rachel like a brand that's called EZ Red, R-E-D. But so far as I know, they like it because it's very comfortable on their neck and holds steady, but I don't think it has variable colors. This one that I have, and we're talking kind of $20, has on off on one side. So I'm going to turn it on.
Yes, we can see. Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Okay, and then
exposing
on
our
the other
eyes.
side, I have a color option. Let's see, and I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, hang on. This button's a little harder to feel. It's not as tactile as it should be. Anyway, so I can go through the colors. There's 3 color options. And then there's 3 brightness options. And the brightness works for each of the colors. So I basically have 9 options, and it's shining out of both sides at the same time. Now, this is bright enough that when I'm walking around the house at night outside, looking for my cat who likes to stay outside, I can see to walk at night. I can also see to walk from my bed to the bathroom at night. But another alternative might be motion sensitive night lights. So that it's just like a panel or a square plugged into your outlet, and it won't turn on until you walk past it or walk close to it. There's other night lights that just aren't very bright that come on as soon as it gets dark. But night lights are really handy. Another kind of light that I should have mentioned is they sell them at Home Depot and Lowe's, under kitchen cabinet lights that you can stick onto the bottom of the cabinet. And they have them with cords or rechargeable. I recommend rechargeable so that you don't have cords dangling and getting in your way on the counter. Some of those have different levels of brightness. They may have different colors. You know, it's up to you to figure out what's available and what works for you. You could use that same principle in your pantry or in your clothes closet. They used to have a light that was called a stick-on light, and you just peeled off the back and it was sticky and you could stick it right on a door frame, and then you touch it and the light would come on. That's just one level of brightness, no choice in color, and probably not even rechargeable, probably built-in battery, and then you throw it away when it isn't working anymore. But I'm just trying to give you suggestions of the variety of, lights that are available that you can use to add light, because most of us do need to add light to get it just right, best possible.
Sandy, we only
And-
have one question from Jenna.
Sure.
Jenna, the floor lamps are, I have two of them in our living room, and they're not like very, very bright, but it's comfortable lightness. And I can email you the link to it. I got it from Amazon as well. So I can email you the link. So I don't know what Sandy, do you know what the brand is?
Oh my goodness. I think it was, I think mine came from China. So, and I don't know that I can, I don't know that I remember it.
Okay,
But
no,
there's
I will
several
send the
brands
link.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just search on pole light, Pole, or torchiere, Torchiere, kind of Frenchified.
Sorry, Sandy. I cut you off.
But another aspect, another important part of controlling light is reducing light. If your eyes are sensitive to one color or another, over glasses, like you all know that I wear these orange over glasses because it cuts down on the bluish light. Now I know that Tara's eyes are different than mine. Do you ever wear sunglasses, Tara?
I do, like just brownish.
Brownish.
Yes. I don't know why. Maybe just got used to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ann Cook, a fellow low vision person who's been in the field for many years, just discovered recently she likes the green sunglasses. They help enhance edges and contrast for her when she's outside. These orange over glasses help me outside in daylight. They help me inside in stores where there's bright fluorescent lights overhead. Another way to reduce glare is a hat. And the reason hats outdoors help, it helps reduce all that blue light that's coming in from the bright blue sky. Indoors, I've been known to wear a hat. I think there's some people on this call who wear hats indoors sometimes. You got to figure out, what makes your eyes comfortable so they're seeing the best they possibly can. So we can't really control the light in public spaces other than kind of, you could bring a task light to a restaurant and put it on the table, a small task light, a battery operated one or a rechargeable one. You can wear your over glasses if a public space is too bright, or a hat. So you got to be creative, because we can control some things just for us. And I prefer to control it for me when I'm in a situation where there's many people there. I will say, may I sit with my back to the bright windows if other people are, okay, looking more at the light. But if a restaurant is too bright, I'm not going to ask the restaurant owner to turn down the lights. I'm going to put on my over glasses. I'm bossy some of the time, but I have to be very judicious when I'm bossy. And I want to tell a couple of stories about public spaces, and then I'll take questions. So I was at I think it was a museum a year or so ago, and checked in, paid my ticket price, took a deep breath because I'm not used to paying for museums, turned around, and there's this gorgeous white marble floor and white marble staircase going up to the second floor, and white walls and bright light coming in. And I was like, oh my gosh, time to put on my orange overglasses. And then another situation I was in, it was a community center, and I asked somebody to help me find the restroom, and they did, and then they stepped aside, which was very appropriate. And I opened the door to the restroom, the ladies' room, and I took a half a step in, and I had to shut my eyes practically because there was so much light and whiteness. The white walls, white ceiling, very bright light. I couldn't even figure out if there was a wall on my right, a wall on my left, a wall straight ahead of me, because there was just so much light. I couldn't figure out what was solid and what was light. So I stepped back out, put my orange sunglasses on, and I really and truly I took a deep breath because I was so startled by this situation. Opened the door again, and yes, there was a wall on my right, and about 6 feet ahead of me was a wall, and I had to turn to the left and figure out this L-shaped hallway to get to where the sinks and the facilities were. And one more story, and Tara can chime in on this one. Another museum downtown. We get up to the exhibits, and they're dim lighting in the room, just spotlights on the paintings, there's a dark carpet on the floor. And I just about tripped over a dark bench in the middle of the room because there was no contrast to see it. So maybe I should have been walking with my phone camera flashlight on, but it didn't ever occur to me that I might be tripping over something. But anyway, my white cane came to the rescue. Okay, I've covered most of it.
Yeah. Sandy, so Melissa gave an example of a floor lamp, and she sent the link as well. It's in the chat. And also there's a question about which lamps do you suggest to take to a restaurant with you if the restaurant's really dark? I mean, what would you use at a restaurant?
So this light that I showed you is just like lights that are used at many restaurants. So I would not be bashful about taking this. I do have, but I'm not sure how far away it is, a little task light that folds up so that it's the size kind of a smartphone of 2 or 3 times as thick as a smartphone. I think I found that online, and I think something similar is still available. The letter Z, a Z light. You could search on that and see if you can find one that unfolds that you can put on the table where you're eating. And, keep it low so it's not shining in the face of customers on your sides. And besides, you don't want it shining in your face. You want it shining down on the table, on the food that you're trying to eat.
And I have used the neck lamp to at the restaurant. Yeah, but just make sure you don't use it in front of the person who's sitting in front of you, because it will drive them crazy. Yeah, point it down. Yeah.
Okay. So Sandy Buddy Moore here. How are you?
I'm good.
Have you experienced daylight bulbs?
Yes. So the ones that they claim are like daylight are sort of a 4,000 kelvins. Yeah, 4,000 or 5,000.
Okay.
So 5,000 on these Eco Smart bulbs that I bought the other day. They said 5,000 was equivalent to daylight. And a low vision person that I know was struggling to get enough light. And I thought that the 5,000 kelvins would be too bright. And she said she got some, and she said it made all the difference.
Yeah,
She's can see better than she's seen in a long time.
yeah. Yeah, I use those now. Of course, I'm losing my ability to process any light at all. But I find that those daylight bulbs are really great. I mean, they light up my place like I'm outside. So they're really great bulbs.
That's a great testimonial.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Can
Same
I show
here,
this
buddy.
one?
Yeah.
Tara, can I show
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah. Yeah. You can show. Who is it? Who is it?
It's
Is
battery
that-
operated as well as plugs into a USB port.
Oh, it's a Z-Link.
It's called IdeaWorks LED lamp, super bright portable. This is how it looks when you use it. And when you want to go somewhere with it, it folds down to that.
Yeah. And mine has 3 levels of brightness, just one color. How about
This
yours?
does too, yes.
Mhm.
3 levels of brightness. I'm a scissor and knife sharpener, and I use this so that I get the item that I'm sharpening right underneath the light, so I can see the bevel, the edge that I'm sharpening, and whether it's sharp or not. But it is small enough that it travels light and works really big.
Can you repeat the brand? What was it called?
It's called IdeaWorks.
Okay.
Like the word ID.
IDEA works. It's all
Oh,
one
okay.
word.
Yeah.
Super bright portable LED lamp, stays bright for 100,000 hours, 3 brightness levels, 24 LED, 48 lumens.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Melissa?
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Melissa.
we have the battle in my family. More than one blind person or light impaired person lives in the same house, and they battled constantly. Turn the lights higher, turn the lights lower, close the windows, open the windows. It was constant. And we helped them to solve that with smartening up their lights. So now they can ask their Amazon friend to adjust the dim level. They can ask them to adjust the temperature, that daylight
Color.
or warm or color. They can do all of those things by voice from their chair. And we put multiple of those floor lamps in the same primary living area so that the lamp is behind the person who needs it. And so the other person doesn't have to look at it and see that bright spot. But having their Amazon friend there to help them make the adjustments and to automate some of that really made life a lot better for everybody.
Melissa, do you need someone who can see well to set up these lights and make them work with the Amazon friend?
Well, I think there's a whole lot of
Mhm.
a range of I think you need someone who knows how to set them up.
Mhm.
And then you may need help in setting them up if you don't know how to set them up, because it's a little bit self-guided. They try to make it easy for the lamps. Now, if you're talking about installing like light switches on your wall, that's a little more challenging.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
the lamps themselves, easy peasy. But you can get light bulbs that are smart as well. And your Amazon friend or other smart devices, I'm sure, can control them. But setting up those lamps and the routines you can add to it. For example, we set up a morning routine. My brother likes green light for some reason at night. He sees better in vivid green, sort of tropical light. we set that up to come on after my mom goes to bed at 11 p.m. And then he's happy at night. And then it switches right back in the morning. It's on a schedule basis that it changes those colors for them. And that has made peace in the house.
That's another
Interesting. Yeah.
great testimonial. So when I was realizing that I need, more yellowish light, and my husband likes the more daylight to bluish light, there's situations where you're trying to come to an agreement. I mean, I will put on my over glasses if need be, or we
Yes.
sit on separate sides of the living room, which sounds like what you've done.
Right. And the other thing that everybody there can agree on is absolute blackout curtains are a must for them, because when the light is too bright or in a hot spot for them, they just can't see anything. It's like seeing spots after an old flash camera flashes at you. They can't really see anything when the brightness is there. So those blackout curtains where you can control the light coming in was a huge benefit.
And that people do have severe photo sensitivity, there's the whole spectrum. Can tolerate a range of lights to very specific light. Yeah.
And this sort of gives them more control for what they are doing.
Sandy, we have a question about the restaurant. Would you tell the waiter that you are you're using this light, or just to let them know, or no need?
I think you really need to, but it could come up. I have had so many waiters offer me a flashlight or a pair of glasses as I'm struggling to read the menu. So they're very forthright. So I think you could very politely say to the waiter, I just need a little bit more light, and that's why I put this on the table. And I think they'd be fine.
Sandy, what was the name of the light, the lamp you had? Can you see any brand or any name on it?
This?
Yes, this one. Good luck with the name.
It was on sale at Marshall's. I don't know what it was.
Okay. Yeah, it's available on Amazon as well.
There's probably 20 or 30 kinds on
Yes.
Amazon.
There are many of them.
Taller, short,
Yeah.
or slightly different shapes.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments anyone has about light, what you're going through, how you're managing, what are your solutions to your light problems at home?
Hi, this is Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, just wanted to share a couple things. The other, I have, we redid our pantry, and some of the shelves are very deep. So I can't find a thing most days. And it's, it's kind of a game, carnival game. Oh, what's this? So I have purchased tape lights that are battery operated, and there's adhesion. There's a like a sticky thing, like a command strip, so you can mount them anywhere you want. And I have them in my closet as well. So and they come in like a warm white, a neutral, and a cool white. So I found that those work really well. And then I can send you the brand of the light, Tara, but it's
Please, yeah.
It's a clip-on light that's got, I forget how many lumens and all the details, but it's a clip-on light, and you plug it in with a USB cord, and it's got like 3 different light levels. And I do the Silver Bells seminar for NFB. And this year, usually the kitchenettes that we use do not have enough light. So we purchased a couple of these lights to mount, you know, on the cabinet, and it's a really strong like clip, and it's a gooseneck, and it's round, and it's provided a lot of light as well. So I will send you both those items.
Please, that would be great. And we can share with whoever wants more information.
This
And
one came from
Pam,
the dollar store.
Yeah. Pam, I want to tell you that my daughter, who has perfectly normal vision, has put those strip lights in her pantry too, because she couldn't find things in the back of the deep shelves. And she says it's made a world of difference for her too.
Oh,
No.
it's I'm doing my, you know, my linen closet, my pantry, the rest of my closet. So I'm on a mission now.
Yeah. And Jenna suggests about the deep cabinets, maybe consider sliding shelves, and the container stirrer usually carries them.
Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, I would like to say that I have used Stella lamps, STELLA. They are not inexpensive, but I was able to get a discount coupon for them from the low vision clinic at Johns Hopkins Wilmer. One is a rechargeable task lamp that I put on the table so I can see what I'm eating. And the other one is a pole lamp that is, it's plug-inable. So, and they come in different colors, light colors, and in different brightness levels.
Yes, the Stella lamps are excellent. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're very good. And
Precisely what I would say, yes.
yeah, yeah.
And another brand that's very reputable, also not as inexpensive, OTT, OTT.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions or other thoughts on lights?
Tara, it's Bridget here.
Hi, Bridget.
Hi. I just wanted to share. You mentioned the lights. I have two of them only because a friend of mine from graduate school is a master thrift store estate sale person. So she grabbed a couple for me and brought them all the way across country.
Aw.
I'm like, why'd you do that? She said, girl, these things are expensive. And I didn't want to show up empty-handed. They're not, they're heavy. So I have one on my desk and I have another over by this sofa where I sit in the evening. But I just wanted to share, I love all this information about lighting. But for me, when I go out to eat, I find it very stressful to look at the menu, and I either do it ahead of time or I just ask the waiter, whoever the server is, what do you recommend? And I'm not a picky eater. I know what I like and what I don't like, but I find I have a much more relaxed time if I just go with the flow and I'm not worried about reading the menu. It flusters me. That's all I wanted to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. That's so true.
And Bridget, I will say that most of the time I'm just sort of looking at the biggest print, and then I ask my assistant husband to read the smaller print in italics that gives all of the extra flavors and ingredients.
Nice.
Yeah. Or you can consult one of your apps to read it for you.
I've done that too.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? Excellent feedback.
Tara, I want to say this is a very educated audience. I'm almost embarrassed. They know more than me.
We all learn from one another, Sandy, as usual. So it's just a space for all of us to learn from one another. That's what we do.
I would like to say to Sandy that I may know some things, but I have a whole long list of items on my pad now that you suggested, which I had not thought of. So thank you.
Thumbs up.
Yes, thank you.
That's great. So if no one else has any questions or comments.
I do.
Okay,
Go
go ahead.
It's Martha.
Hi, Martha.
Hi. Anybody have any tips or on how to use the magnifying app on the iPhone?
Chris showed me. Is Chris there?
Yeah, he is. Martha, just give us a call and we can provide you with a long list of apps that can help you.
Well, there's that magnifier that's built in, to
Yes.
the iPhone.
Yeah.
And I've the fiddling around with it. It seems that I have to get it. There's a proper positioning of the lens on whatever I'm trying to read, like the menu, as you were saying.
Yeah.
That's counterintuitive to using the phone and its camera. So I will give you a call and be grateful for the help. Thanks.
Of course, Martha. Okay, everyone. I guess it's time. Thank you very much, Sandy, as usual. You just simplify it and make it in such a way that it's so interesting to learn and listen and know more about the topic. So thank you again, Sandy, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And if you
It's been fun.
Yeah. And if you need any more information, we'll gather whatever we got from others, from everyone, and we will share it. Thank you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.